mentality, good things tend to happen.
Baseball is a mirror image of the best in our society.
Welcome back to MLB Central. Obviously, a new time. We're on 9 a.m. Eastern. We have a new look as well, and here's some of the feedback. Rofo looks like your mom's boyfriend showing up at your Little League game and layered up in case it gets cold later in the day. Or if I need to give her my jacket, to keep her warm.
Chivalry is not death, honey.
Yeah, so
I think you look amazing.
Thank you. It's going to take
He doesn't age,
an adjustment period.
His skin is perfection. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah. It is. Sources confirm.
Sources confirm.
Popping the green with the green eyes.
Yeah. That's not by mistake.
JP Morocci is.
I mean, you're not fooling anybody.
It's like me with the glasses. We get it.
JP Morocci is here in studio as we begin hour number 2 of MLB Central. And let's get you updated on our poll question, which was who had the best song during our Jukebox Jam? And it is tight.
Okay.
D-Ro has opened up a lead of 36% to 33% over Lauren Shahadi. I'm currently bringing up the rear with 30.
Got to get on the board day one. Got to get on the board.
So continue to vote. The polls will be open until pretty much the show comes to an end at noon Eastern.
Never.
All right. Yeah. All right, let's go front and center. Of course, the Atlanta Braves. They are the reigning and defending World Series champions, and they begin defense of that title this evening against the Cincinnati Reds as Max Fried. He started the last game for the Atlanta Braves, Game 6 of the 2021 World Series, and he'll start the first game of 2022 as the Cincinnati Reds get their first crack at the defending champions. And Adam Wainwright takes the opening day mound one final time as the Cardinals will host the Pittsburgh Pirates to start off 2022. And Waino is joined by Yadier Molina, and Albert Pujols is back for the first time with the Cardinals since 2011. Let's stay in Missouri and let's talk about the Kansas City Royals because Zach Greinke is back in Royal Blue for the first time since 2010. He's been on 5 different teams since he last played for the Kansas City Royals. He will take the mound at home against the Cleveland Guardians. Bobby Witt Jr. also making his debut for the Kansas City Royals. Jacob Degrom and the New York Mets once again dealing with injuries, and he will miss opening day. In place, it will be Tyler McGill, who came into the Mets rotation last year because of injuries. McGill will lead New York into Washington to take on the Washington Nationals. Max Scherzer set to face his former team later this weekend. And Shohei Ohtani and the Angels get 2022 started against the Houston Astros. Ohtani making his opening day start after that MVP campaign, trying to become the first repeat MVP since Miggy did it in 2012 and 2013. All right, I'm going to look at my rundown and get, yes.
Yeah, send it to me.
I'll send it to D-Ro. Give us your list of the most important players for 2022.
All right, these are my difference makers this year. If these guys have monster seasons, their teams totally change, okay? And we don't start anything without bringing back an open from last year.
Okay, what do we got it?
Pull up a chair because class is in session. Raise your hand if you have a question. He's been up all night with a pen and pad. If you didn't make the cut, then don't be mad. It takes a lot of work so that this could exist. Ladies and gents, we present the D-List.
All right, let's dive into some D-List game changers. Let's start in San Francisco. Brandon Crawford. Okay, Buster Posey is no longer there. Brandon Crawford had a monster offensive uptick at the end of 2020 into 2021. I see him continuing on that trend. He's already a defensive wizard. Expect him to help the San Francisco Giants.
This dude right here.
Byron Buxton. Basically, people, if he's right, over the last 3 years, Minnesota's 50 games over 500. He's Mike Trout production-wise when he's healthy. He stays in the lineup, Minnesota has a chance. Noah Syndergaard had a monster spring, and I don't think if people remember too closely, when he was with the Mets, nobody ever hit him when he was right and healthy. With him and Ohtani, the Angels are real. We're going to miss Chris Sale for the first 2 months, potentially. But you look at the AL East, Red Sox either finish first or fourth. And it's based on Chris Sale staying healthy. But I think that the Brewers can win the NL Central without a productive Christian Yelich, but they cannot win the whole thing.
Good point.
Without a productive Christian Yelich.
Yep.
So I'd hate to put that type of pressure on a former MVP, but it's go time for Christian Yelich to kind of take them over the hump. And we're going to have Willie Adames on a little bit later.
That's a great list, and it's a tough
You could have a
list.
ton of guys on there.
Who'd you
Jack
leave off?
Flaherty. You could have a Brandon Lau. You can have, there's a lot of guys up and down.
Yeah.
But I think for me, Syndergaard's been really huge this spring. Buxton healthy.
Talk about huge spring.
Yeah.
Byron Buxton, every at bat, home run.
Homer.
Every.
Bryce Harper, by the way, 8 spring bombs.
Notorious fast
How about
starter.
Mickey Moniak, by the way? #1 overall pick back in 2016, makes the Phillies roster, 6 home runs this spring. First opening day in the show.
They say spring doesn't matter, but
Who else
it's
for
momentum,
you
right?
is kind of an X factor or someone that you have your eye on?
So, Robert, I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but I'm always watching the Mariners. Not just because I predict them every year to make the playoffs in my conversations with Lauren on opening day, but this year, Jesse Winker. We saw what he could do all-star season last year. A good lefty presence in that Mariner lineup. You want to have the veteran out there. This is a team that basically, they don't have a single player older than 31 among their position players. And so he is going to be, in his first year, one of the leaders in this ball club. Nice lefty power. Gives you balance there. They've really put this club together. Kelnick is out there. Rodriguez as well in center field.
What a
D-Row.
bizarre trade for the Reds.
It was a little bit. I think Suarez is going to be. I think there in Seattle, more gap-to-gap thought process.
I think they attach. I mean, they attach
Suarez's contract.
contract.
Who'd you get back?
But we say that often, and then we look back on it.
And why the Reds punt
I agree with
on everything? Were they that far removed from a postseason berth last
year? A couple
year?
years ago, last year, I liked their team. Speaking of the Seattle Mariners, obviously they've got to overtake the defending division champions, the Houston Astros. And for me, Alex Bregman is an important part. Obviously, Carlos Correa is no longer there. They're going to need Alex Bregman from 2018 to 2019, that version. From 2018 to 2019, he was basically the third best hitter in the game, behind Trout and Yelich. They're going to need him to be a middle-of-the-order force. He's battled injuries. He had off-season wrist surgery, and I think that robbed him and sapped him of some of his power.
That's what it was. It was that wrist. I remember talking to Alex during the course of the playoffs last year. He basically said, I'm going to have to get this fixed in the offseason, and when I come back, I'll be ready.
They need
and, you know, Bregman has that confidence about him, that swagger. That's back for them this spring.
Whenever I hear Alex Bregman, I think of what you said about Brian McCann. He just loves baseball more than you.
Oh, my God. Yeah. There
In
was
the cage
rumors
before
that he
everyone
had
else.
keys to
He
batting
just loves it
cages
more.
no one else could get into.
So good.
But he looked good in spring training. I was down with him this year. He wanted to get more athletic this offseason. I think he's accomplished that. And big things coming his way.
Yeah.
My game changer is going to interest you, my friend. I'm going to Detroit. Javi Baez.
Nice.
He's got the flair. He's got the dramatic. He's got Miguel Cabrera saying, as you go, we go. And I think they're going to win sooner than we think. I think that pitching staff with Mize and Skubal and Eduardo Rodriguez, AL Central is going to be very interesting, and he could be a big-time game changer.
Uptick in his production last year when he went to the Mets. Seemed to control the strike zone a lot better. Is that what we're going to get more of in Detroit? Because I believe in A.J. Hinch and George Lombard, their bench coach, my old minor league roommate. I love what they're doing with that roster. Skubal and Matt Manning's going to take a step forward. Casey Mize takes a step forward. Erod gives you some consistency.
And a key thing they did last year, D-Row, with those young pitchers is they made sure that they planned out their pitching last year and their workload and innings so they would not have limitations this year. So those 3 arms, we're not going to hear about innings limits for them. They're ready to go. And you put Rodriguez at the top of that. They'll bring in Pineda at some point. They'll move Alexander back into more of a multi-inning role. They've got a good bullpen. Gregory Soto, I always say, the Tigers' best homegrown lefty reliever.
That dude's filthy.
Since John Hiller. Since John Hiller. That goes back even before I was born. That's a long time ago.
Wow. Yeah, he's pretty nasty. But I agree with you, Lauren. I think the Tigers could be that team that wins more and sooner than we think. They definitely got something good going on. All right, we're going to take us time out here in hour number 2 of MLB Central.